You are running out of time, he warned, his gaze flickering to the horizon. They are closing in, and you will not be able to escape them forever. Oliver felt a chill run down his spine. They had been trying to outrun the unknown forces, but now it seemed that the darkness was closing in faster than they had anticipated. And worse still, the hooded man's cryptic words seemed to suggest that the stakes were higher than they had imagined. Before anyone could react, the ground beneath them trembled, and a deafening roar echoed through the forest. The air grew thick with a foreboding energy as dark clouds rolled in overhead, blotting out the sun. "Get ready," Leora muttered, her voice tense. "This is only the beginning." The trio braced themselves for what was to come, knowing that the journey ahead would be more perilous than they could have ever anticipated. As the roar grew louder, they understood that the true battle for the fate of the world had begun. And no one, not even Tom and Jerry in their endless chase, could escape the storm that was coming. The roar reverberated through the trees, a guttural sound that made the very ground tremble beneath their feet. Oliver, Leora, and Elias stood frozen for a moment, the air thick with tension. The hooded figure's eyes flickered with a dark knowing, his lips curling into a grim smile as if he had been waiting for this moment. He looked up at the dark clouds above, his voice a low murmur. "They are here." As the words left his mouth, a dark figure emerged from the forest, its towering silhouette almost impossible to define as it moved over them. The creature, a grotesque mix of man and beast, moved with an unnatural grace, each step sending shudders through the trees. Its eyes gleamed with malevolent intent, and its form seemed to shift with the shadows, as if it were part of the darkness itself. Oliver's heart pounded in his chest. He could feel the weight of the medallion pulling him, urging him to take action, to use its power. But there was a part of him that hesitated, uncertain of the consequences. He had always known there was more to the relic than just a symbol of power, but now, with this creature before them, he realized how little he truly understood. Leora, ever the pragmatic one, stepped forward, her hand gripping the hilt of her dagger. "We can't outrun this. We have to fight," she said, her voice steady but with an edge of urgency. Elias, his sword drawn, nodded in agreement. "But we need to protect the medallion. It's our only hope." The creature seemed to sense their resolve, its lips curling into a mocking grin. It spoke, its voice a deep growl that seemed to come from the very pit of the earth. "You think you can fight me? You think this trinket can save you? The Order has waited centuries for the moment when the Chosen One would appear. The time is now. The medallion belongs to us, and you are nothing more than a pawn in this game." Oliver's grip tightened around the medallion, feeling the energy within it surge. It was as if the relic was alive, pulsing with power, responding to the danger before them. His vision blurred for a moment as images of ancient battles and forgotten kings flashed before his eyes, and then he understood. The creature was right. The medallion wasn't just a symbol of power, it was a key to unlocking something far more dangerous than any of them could imagine. But at that moment, he also realized something else. He didn't have to face this battle alone. With a surge of determination, Oliver raised the medallion high, and a brilliant light erupted from it, blinding in its intensity. The creature recoiled, its claws raised to shield its eyes. Leora and Elias shielded themselves from the light, their eyes wide with awe and fear. The hooded figure, too, seemed to sense the change in the air, his expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. The ground shook again, but this time it was different. The light from the medallion seemed to reach deep into the earth, pulling something ancient and powerful from the depths below. The air grew heavy with magic, and the trees around them began to tremble as if the forest itself were awakening. The creature hissed, its eyes narrowing with fury. "Fool! You cannot control what you don't understand." But Oliver was beyond fear now. He had come to understand the medallion's power, its true purpose. It was not just a tool for war, it was a force that could change the course of destiny. And he was willing to risk everything to wield it. With a roar of defiance, Oliver plunged the medallion into the earth. The ground cracked open beneath them, a deep chasm forming as tendrils of dark energy surged forth, swirling around them like a storm. The creature staggered back, its form flickering as the power of the medallion began to unravel its very existence. Leora and Elias fought to keep their footing, but they too felt the pull of the energy, as if the very fabric of reality were beginning to tear. The hooded figure's voice rang out, cutting through the chaos. "Do you have any idea what you are doing? You are unleashing forces beyond your comprehension. But Oliver couldn't stop now. The light from the medallion grew brighter, and with it came a deafening roar from the chasm. Something ancient and terrible stirred in the darkness below, something that had been waiting for centuries. Then, in an instant, everything stopped. The light from the medallion faded, leaving only the echo of its power behind. The ground was still, the air heavy with the remnants of magic. The creature was gone, its form dissipating into the shadows from which it had emerged. The hooded figure stood silent, his expression unreadable. Oliver collapsed to his knees, his breath shallow as he struggled to comprehend what had just happened. The medallion, now dull and lifeless in his hand, seemed to weigh more than ever before. Leora and Elias rushed to his side, their faces a mixture of relief and confusion. What was that? Elias asked, his voice trembling with disbelief. I don't know, Oliver replied, his voice hoarse. But I think we just unleashed something. Something we can't control. Leora looked around at the stillness of the forest, the quietness almost eerie in its intensity. We may have stopped the creature for now, but what about the forces the hooded figure spoke of? The Order. We have to find out what they want, Oliver said, struggling to his feet. We can't let them get their hands on the medallion. It's more dangerous than we thought. The hooded figure, who had been watching from a distance, stepped forward. His voice was quiet, but there was a sense of finality to it. You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The Order is already on its way. And when they come, they will not be so easily defeated. Oliver, Leora, and Elias exchanged a glance. They knew that the road ahead would be perilous, filled with even greater challenges than they had faced so far. But they also knew that they couldn't turn back. Not now. The storm that had begun in the forest was far from over. And as they moved forward into the unknown, they could feel the weight of the world pressing down on them. The fate of everything hung in the balance, and only one thing was certain, their journey was just beginning. In gratitude, the Warden entrusted them with the core fragment of the Eternal Weave, its energy merging with the shard to restore a part of the cosmic balance. As the temporal nexus stabilized, the Chronomancer appeared once more, commending their courage and unity. He warned them that their journey was far from over. The remaining fragments of the weave were scattered across dimensions more treacherous than the last, and dark forces sought to exploit the imbalance for their own gain. Yet, he also reassured them that their bond and determination would be their greatest strengths. With renewed purpose, Tom, Jerry, and Oliver stepped through another portal, the shard's light guiding them toward their next destination. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they also knew that together, they could overcome anything. Their journey through time and space was not just about restoring balance, it was about discovering the true power of friendship and the resilience of the spirit. Oliver felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. The chronoheart pulsed in his hands as if aware of the conflict within him. On one side the source promised restoration, a return to balance, but at the cost of unknown changes to time itself. On the other side the Keeper spoke of freedom, but his intentions were clouded by his own desires for control. What if the Keeper only sought to manipulate time for his own gain? What if the source's vision of balance erased moments that were meant to be? Leora stepped closer, her